Good morning, I'm Mara Bain.
And I'm Noah Campen, and this is your Thursday Morning Good Morning KU show. Before we get started, I hear we have some special viewers today.
Yes, we do. It's an exciting day. We have our #1 fans from all the way Fairway, Kansas, the farthest you can ever go. They're missing their exercise class to watch us. I wanted to shout out Eva and Bill Cummings, my grandparents. Hi, I'm famous.
Certainly. Well, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, happy Earth Day.
Right,
the walk
definitely.
this morning shows off the beauty of the planet, the tulips on campus.
Definitely.
And it goes from the snow on Tuesday. That was not awesome.
That was brutal. And
Yeah.
Jade will be here a little bit later to tell us about some more weather later this week. Some rain coming, unfortunately, but
hopefully no more snow. That's all I really care about.
yeah, I
But
can handle the rain.
Yeah. We also have finals coming up. Are you excited? Are you studying? Are you ready?
I'm excited. I don't have that many tests per se.
Yeah.
I have a lot of projects to do, which is nice,
Same.
but that's very
Same.
fortunate. I don't have to cram studying or anything.
Yeah, I'm not the best studier either.
I'm the worst.
Yeah.
And with finals comes graduation. We got graduation on May 16th, 3 separate ceremonies, and then if you're in the class of 2020, you'll be able to come back on May 23rd and walk the hill as well.
That's nice for people to be able to come back and experience, whoever missed that wanted to.
Definitely.
With all of those events going on, tickets are required and masks are required as well, and there's assigned seating, but I feel like it'll be organized enough to be done safely so people can get that experience that they want as a senior.
Definitely. I'm sure they thought this all the way through.
Yeah.
And with more, or stick with us, we got to talk about the KU student elections coming up from Wesley, and
Yep, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hear about that and the rest of our segments today.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
Good morning. This week, the Student Senate elections are happening. However, this election will look different than previous elections because the newly created Student Trial Court silently ruled in March that candidates cannot organize together to have coalition names next to their names on the ballot. The trial court's reasoning for this decision is based on a 2015 textbook on federal statute analysis and federal tax case law. While using federal tax case law to decide if students have the right to publicly organize in student government elections is an impressive feat of mental gymnastics, the advisory opinion that the court calls relies on the removal of most of the references to coalitions in the Student Senate rules and regulations, essentially the Student Senate Constitution. It is important to note that there is no explicit ban on coalitions in the Senate Constitution. The trial court is interpreting changes in the election code and creating a ban on coalitions. The rules and regulations still define coalitions as any group of students who unite to campaign for student senate positions and are registered as a student organization with the Student Involvement and Leadership Center. It even defines general elections as an election or vote on any or all candidates, coalitions, measures, initiatives, and/or referenda. These aren't the only references to coalitions still in the rules and regulations, but the trial court dismissed these segments of the Student Senate Constitution as potentially outdated. The Senate Constitution even says any ballot must include the names of any registered candidates as requested on their declaration of candidacy forms, unless the requested names are vulgar or obscene. The trial court seems to think that organizing must be vulgar and obscene because before Forward KU dropped out of the election, the candidates requested that a coalition name be a part of their name on the ballot, and the trial court said no. Wannabe lawyering aside, abolishing coalitions is a wildly unpopular move. In 2019, there was a non-binding referendum on whether or not the coalition system should be abolished, and 81.9% of students were against abolishing coalitions. Because of the trial court's advisory opinion, it is exceptionally difficult to find any particular candidate's views or platforms. To me, the effect of this advisory opinion is how it hides the deeply uncompetitive and anti-democratic nature of Senate elections. For the past 2 years, only one coalition ran. Now, the first year where an outside coalition tried to challenge the Greek dominance in Senate, no more coalitions. This is just another blow to the already atrophied system where over half of the seats on the ballot this year are either uncontested or unfilled. Unless you're in the College of Liberal Arts or the School of Engineering, where the dueling coalitions would have faced off, you likely won't get a say in your representation or have any at all. These schools of business, pharmacy, and architecture, urban planning, and design, along with off-campus and graduate students, only get partial representation. If you are a non-traditional student or in the School of Education, Music, or Social Welfare, you get no representation at all. This is the part where I would normally encourage you to write to your senator to discuss these issues and make it a broader conversation at KU, except you likely won't have a senator, and the names of the students on the new trial court haven't been posted publicly except for the Chief Justice. There aren't even dissents or majorities in the trial court, so we have no way of knowing anyone's opinions on important issues. Pretty much only Greek, engineering, and liberal arts students will have any representation next year. So I guess bug them to bug their representatives to give you representation again? It doesn't look good. Get sad or get mad, it's your choice. After the break, Mara and Atala will be here with our news update.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Good morning, I'm Itala.
And I'm Mara, and this is your Thursday Good Morning KU News Update. Derek Chauvin was found guilty in the death of George Floyd on Tuesday. Chauvin was convicted on all charges, including second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter, and faces up to 40 years in prison. Judge Peter Cahill said Chauvin's sentencing will be in 8 weeks, and Chauvin's bail has been revoked. The jury deliberated their decision for 10 hours over 2 days before they ultimately found Chauvin guilty.
The FDA released findings on Wednesday that a Baltimore vaccine plant had contaminated its production of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. The plant was ordered to stop production and throw out up to 15 million coronavirus vaccines. The inspection was triggered by a report that workers at the Emergent Biosolution plant had possibly contaminated a batch of coronavirus vaccines. So far, all Johnson & Johnson vaccines administered in the U.S. have come from overseas, and it will stay that way for the time being.
Biden announced on Wednesday that more than a quarter of the country has been fully vaccinated, and the administration received their goal of 200 million coronavirus vaccinations in Biden's first 100 days. Biden then addressed the portion of the U.S. that has not yet received a dose, urging them to get vaccinated by the end of May. Experts say 70% to 80% of the country must be vaccinated to reach herd immunity, so the Biden administration is pushing to reach that number.
The KU Alumni Association filed plans with the City of Lawrence for a $21 million addition to the Adams Alumni Center. Renovations to existing structure are expected to add another $8 to $9 million to the cost of the project, totaling about $30 million. Given KU's current budget crisis, the renovation plans were not met with positive feedback from the KU community. The Alumni Association President Heath Peterson said, "The reality is that if this project were not occurring, the dollars would not be available to solve budget challenges."
KU sophomore Zach Bradford has been named Big 12 Track Athlete of the Week for the second straight week. The announcement came on Wednesday after Bradford won the pole vault event at the Michael Johnson Invitational. Bradford's previous Big 12 Athlete of the Week honor was announced on April 14th after vaulting the KU indoor school record. Bradford's indoor school record set at the Tom Spots Invitational is the #1 mark in the NCAA this season.
The baseball team salvaged the third game of a series with a walk-off victory over Baylor. After losing 82 and 62, the Jayhawks managed to limit the Bears to just 2 runs on Sunday for a 3-2 victory. KU is now 20-15 for the season and heads to Texas this week to play UTA and TCU.
Freshman Casey Hamilton pitched a complete game as the KU softball team knocked off number 23 Wichita State last night 5-2. Hamilton struck out 9 shockers while giving up just 1 walk. The Jayhawks are now 22-17 and will also head to Texas for the next 2 weekends, with series against Texas and then Baylor.
The tennis team lost to Oklahoma State 4-2 last weekend at the Jayhawk Tennis Center to finish the regular season at 7-12. The Jayhawks will head to Waco, Texas today for the Big 12 Conference Championship, where they'll take on Kansas State. The Jayhawks are currently 7-12 on the season.
And finally, the golf team's Ben Siegel scored a hole-in-one on the 17th hole at the Hawkeye Invitational last weekend in Iowa City. Siegel finished with a 5-under par 67 to help the Jayhawks to a second-place finish as a team. The Big 12 Conference Championships are this weekend in Hutchinson, Kansas.
That is all for your news update. After the break, Jay will be here with the weather.
Hi, welcome back to Good Morning KU and happy Earth Day. I'm Jade Steffensmeyer with your weather forecast for today. We're starting off the day a little chilly with a temperature of 46 degrees outside right now, but lots of sunshine. Here's a look from earlier this morning on campus. You can see the tulips are blooming, the trees are blossoming, and very little clouds in the sky. There's a lot of clouds to the west of us though, and those are going to make its way over to us later this afternoon. We're in the 50s for this afternoon for our high. Those clouds are gradually going to build, and we have a chance for some showers around 5 p.m. this evening. Now, those should only last for a couple hours and should be pretty light. This evening, we're going to drop down to 44 for our low, and after that little bit of rain we see earlier in the evening, we're going to stay pretty dry for the rest of the night with the wind picking up from the south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now tomorrow is when that rain returns. We're going to have a high of 58, and after a little bit of a dry period overnight, those are going to start back up early in the morning. This shouldn't be anything too severe, but we're going to have off and on showers throughout the day with the wind from the south at 13 miles per hour. But here's the good news. We have a beautiful weekend ahead of us. 64 and mostly sunny on Saturday and 72 and sunny on Sunday. The rest of the week is a little bit of a roller coaster. So like I said, we have that rain coming tomorrow, clearing out for a beautiful weekend ahead of us after that. But starting off the week next week, we're going to start off in the 80s on Monday, and on Tuesday we have a chance for some severe weather, carrying into Wednesday for some showers, and ending the week on Thursday in the 60s. But that's all we have for you today on Good Morning KU. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.